From Generate, Greg Smith, morning to you.
Morning to you, Mike.
A bit over 13,000, so what do we make of that?
Yeah, those migration tailwinds are fading, but there is a little bit of good news. But yeah, you look at migrant arrivals for the July year, 140,000. That was down 20%. That's a world away from 234,000 October 23. Departures, they were up 14%, 127,400. So that's around peak levels. So yeah, that net migration gain of 13,000. That's a world away from the peak of 135,000 in October 2023, and we're actually running at less than half of the long-term average pre-COVID. We gained 60,000 non-New Zealanders. That's down over 40% on 2024, but interestingly, it is actually up 30% above pre-COVID, so increasingly diverse population there. But we lost 47,600 New Zealand citizens, Mike. That's a record, 3,000 higher than a year ago, double pre-COVID averages. And on a gross basis, 73,000 Kiwis departing these shores. So that rose slightly on June as a record. So yeah, the brain drain continues. And interestingly, the average or median age of people leaving is 31. Those arriving is 21, so there's a net loss of skills abroad. If we want to look at a positive, July looks a little better, so net migration gain of 4,100. That's up 3,000 on June, although student visa arrivals are a factor. But overall, just tells us that New Zealand is still not that attractive economically, obviously subdued demand for labour, which we've talked about. But let's look at the big positives, Mike, on the tourism front. Visitor arrivals, 236,000 July, that's up 14,700 from a year ago. Almost 127,000 Aussies, that's a record for July annually. 3.4 million, that's up 170,000 nearabouts. And again, driven by Aussies, they make up around about 40% of those numbers. So I guess the $8 fetching $1.10 of our currency might drive a few more over.
Now, KiwiSaver is interesting, these numbers from the FMA. So for the first time, fewer people are contributing to KiwiSaver. So what does this tell us?
Well, that's right, and then that's the issue. So you look at it, 40% are not contributing, and if you look at the age between 18 and 65, which are most likely to, 30% aren't contributing. So the good news is the investment pool's getting larger, so it's up 10% according to the FMA over the past year, so to 123 billion. Obviously, yeah, it has been a great scheme since it was formed in 2007. Obviously, it's added to our economic strength and resilience and so on. But yeah, we're approaching a 20th anniversary. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about compulsory super in recent days, Mike, and lifting those contributions. And I think, look, it's worthy of a conversation. Cost of living's rising. People aren't contributing. Retirees living longer, more active lives. The Financial Services Council, they reckon only 44% of people feel prepared for retirement. You look at the average balance per the FMA, it's 36 grand. Massey University, they reckon a single homeowner needs 271,000 over super to live a comfortable retirement, 183,000 for a no-frills one. And then, yeah, lots of people aren't contributing. So 3.4 million thereabouts enrolled in KiwiSaver. Making it compulsory would add over 1 million people more into the fold. So, yeah, we have contributed around about 7.8 billion. So that's improved the culture of saving, but I think more needs to be done. So we look at the successful blueprint, obviously in Aussie. They've been going a lot longer since Keating bought it in 92. But, yeah, 12% currently, 4 trillion pool there. Fifth largest holder of pension assets, and it's done a lot for their economic resilience. And then you look at other schemes such as Sweden, Switzerland, Netherlands, that's boosted their well-being. And we did actually have a vote on compulsory super. The referendum in 1997 was 92% against, but that was a bit flawed. And I think the proposal around tax cuts would be way better. It would avoid that boom-bust sort of cycle, and it would be net neutral from an inflation perspective. So much more productive. Just interesting, we've been running a social media poll. 80% are in favour of 10% minimum compulsory super. So lots to work out, including those billions of dollars of tax cuts and how they'd be funded. But yeah, every process has a starting point, I guess, Mike.
Well done. What are the numbers?
So the numbers we have got, the Dow is down 0.5%, 47,456, but the S&P 500 is at a new record, up 0.3%, 6,534. Wholesale inflation, that eased a bit unexpectedly, as you talked about. Oracle, that surged 40%. Their AI-related revenues up 1,500% last quarter. Nasdaq up 0.1%, FTSE down 0.2%, Nikkei up 0.9%, ASX 200 up 0.3%, 8830. NZX 50, we had a good session, up 0.2%, 13,276. Gold up $20, 3,646 an ounce. That's near a record. Oil up $1.12, 63.75. Currencies against the US dollar, we're up 0.4%, 59.5. We are now under 90 against the Australian, 89.8. That was down 0.2%. British pound, 44 even, up 0.3%. And the Japanese yen, 0.3% higher as well, 87.7.
You have a good one, mate. Catch up soon. That is Greg Smith, of course, from Generate Wealth and KiwiSaver Specialists.